Okay, to finish off really the dinim of Kaddish. Obviously, there's a lot more halachos about it. What happens if there's nobody in shul that needs to say Kaddish? Nobody, thank God, needs to say Kaddish. Should somebody who is able to say Kaddish, just for the sake of the minyan? So many places they don't do it, obviously, because there's nobody else. But there's a letter from the Rebbe, and say from Menhogim already, there's a letter from the Rebbe that it's preferable that somebody who is able to say Kaddish should say Kaddish. And he brings sources for it that David leaves the minyan. Now, the Kaddish Al Yisrael, anytime Al Yisrael, somebody that has parents could say it. The only time you can't say Kaddish if you have parents is Kaddish Yosem. Kaddish Teskabel you could say, Kaddish D'Rabbanan you could say, even though many circles they don't, but halachically, Kaddish D'Rabbanan is nothing, just like you could say Kaddish Teskabel if you have parents. You could say Kaddish D'Rabbanan, it's on the learning. Kaddish Yosem is for a Yosem. So the Rebbe holds that if there's nobody else that's saying Kaddish, a person could say Kaddish. Now, if somebody has one parent, and one parent not alive, so even though technically they are allowed to say Kaddish, but it says in halacha they should get permission from the living parent to be able to say Kaddish. The proper thing, it says in halacha, is to get the permission from the living parent. But obviously if somebody doesn't have neither parent, then obviously they could say the Kaddish whenever they want.
Now, when we do this Kaddish, when there's nobody to say Kaddish, on the one on Shir Shel, on the
Tilim, not necessarily, and the Kaddish at the end for sure not. The Kaddish Yisrael at the end also not. But the Kaddish for the Yoyim, Kolakenu, Aleinu, those Kaddishim, they say after Tilim, they don't have to say it because it's not a chiyuv of a Kaddish. Now, what about daughters saying Kaddish? In today's world, there's a very controversial issue. Now, in halacha it says that, let me tell you what Kitzur says, and then we'll discuss the other poskim. Kitzur says a girl should not say Kaddish in the shul. She wants to make a million in the house and say Kaddish in the house, she could, but even then it says the gamzeis ein laseis. She also shouldn't do that.
But a million of men or million of women?
No. Million of men, but she says it, okay. Lebeil, in the firm circles, I'm telling what it says in poskim, achreinim, and it's definitely not encouraged for a woman to say Kaddish. If she dafka wants to, you can't forbid it. No, you can't forbid a woman saying Kaddish, even though in a lot of the very firm circles they probably stone her. But halachically you can't stop her. But then the proper thing to do is, she can't say it louder than the men who are saying Kaddish. So if there's a woman saying Kaddish, there should be a man in the shul saying Kaddish louder, that they're basically answering Amen on the man's Kaddish, not on the woman's Kaddish. But this is one of the big issues that people have a misunderstanding of the entire concept. When Torah says to do something, then it's beneficial. If Torah says you shouldn't do something, then it's not beneficial. So again,
there's a gray area.
There's a very gray area. The question is, why are they doing it?
Well, it feels good.
It feels good. Okay, so again, it's not encouraged, but it's not forbidden. But the proper thing is that they don't do it.
If somebody doesn't have a son and only daughters, and the daughter wants to say Kaddish,
The son-in-law.
Halachically, if a person passes away without children, without boys, without boys, so then if the daughters have husbands, the son-in-law, it says Kaddish, if he's able to. That means if he doesn't have parents, if he has both parents, then that son-in-law can't say. There's brothers-in-law could say, other relatives could say. If not, it says in halacha, you hire somebody to say Kaddish. Again, if she wants to, again, in the halacha, proper Shulchan Aruch is discouraged. She dafka wants to, she could, but she shouldn't be the only one saying Kaddish in the shul.
Rabbi, though, is it counted?
Huh?
Is it counted if a woman says Kaddish?
Well, counted for what?
Is it
No,
beneficial
for the 11
Huh?
months.
Is it
For the 11-month
beneficial?
period.
The girl says Kaddish or not?
It's not beneficial. She wants to say it for herself, she should
Excuse me,
say.
for the 11-month period. I mean,
Shama.
people. I'm saying if a woman says it.
That's what he asked, the same question.
Oh, then he asked after I did, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So what's the answer?
Both parents
No.
are living
It's
and
not.
they give you permission to say Kaddish. You could or not?
I still don't get
If
the answer.
okay, a lot of times this is very common, by the way. You have parents alive, but they give permission to the son to say Kaddish. What's the case? I'll tell you a very simple case. This happens a lot with Bali Tshuva. The parents are not religious, okay, and the parents have yahrzeit for their father or mother. They don't go to shul, right? So the son would like to say Kaddish for the grandparents. So it says in halacha clearly that if they give permission, the proper thing to do is to say Kaddish. In other places in halacha it says it's proper that a grandchild, especially if there's no parents alive, saying Kaddish for their grandparent, should say Kaddish for them.
Or uncle or anybody else. I mean,
Yeah, but again, is it beneficial? Whoever says Kaddish is beneficial, but that's what they're supposed to be saying. What?
Is it better to pay someone to do it if your uncles are not doing it for your grandparents? Or do it yourself?
It doesn't matter. If it's not the child actually saying Kaddish, for instance, there's a big shaila, who comes first? A brother-in-law to say Kaddish or a son-in-law? Who should say Kaddish? There's different opinions in halacha who should be saying Kaddish.
What's the answer?
Huh?
What's the reason a woman can't say that?
It's covered at seaboard, it's not tznius, it's not kol ish. Kol ish is the only one they sing.
Right. So, sneer?
Somebody sent me a clip that the guy is talking to his wife on the phone. He says, I don't hear you. My phone has a filter. I don't hear Kol Isha. So he told his wife, you can't hear. Kol Isha is only when she sings. I mean, but how you have a lot of issues. Can a woman get up and speak in front of men and women?
Why not?
Because in certain communities, they stone you if they did that. In certain communities, they don't do that. But Federstadt, they don't let do that. It's not it's in the concept of tznius. Hapi Allah, where?
In Chabad.
Where in Chabad? Not in Crown Heights. In Bauer Park, they don't let it.
Sorry,
And
Carmelli speaks in Crown Heights.
no, that's
Only-
not.
Only for women. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
only for women.
Just guessing.
But I
But
mean,
here
halacha-
A woman can
A
speak
woman
for
is
women
allowed
without
to
any
speak in
question.
front of
Yeah, but I'm
Here
saying
she
according
does
to
for
halacha.
men and women. And the Rebbe
Here, we let. Just say we let the principals get up.
But I know.
Do you know when there's a girls' school graduation? Girls' school graduation is girls. Yeah, so the principal's a lady, whether it's high school or elementary. Yeah. Okay, and they come to the graduate. Do you know that in the very firm circles, when a girl graduates elementary or high school, they don't let the fathers come to the graduation
Stay home, Dad.
because women are speaking and the girls are speaking. They don't want men there.
Just pay the check.
Why?
Because again, of tznius, the concept of tznius in that circle.
Singing, she's
Besides, the father.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you another example. In Shulchan Aruch it says that when a woman has a baby, so after you have a baby, you bench gomel. The Alter Rebbe brings down this din. The Alter Rebbe says a woman after a baby benches gomel. So what does she do? So the Alter Rebbe says in Birchas Hanenin, he says she stands at the end of davening behind the mechitza,
In the corner.
and after davening there's 10 men, and she says the bracha gomel aloud, and they answer gomel. Okay, in Chabad, women don't bench gomel. They don't bench gomel.
I saw this, Rabbi, the Persian.
By the Rebbe, they asked the Rebbe once about it because Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch says the Rebbe said I never heard that women bench gomel. In Poland they didn't. In Russia they didn't. They didn't bench gomel. The same thing. Men fly overseas. By Torah reading, they do gomel. Yeah, you ever see women that fly to Israel bench gomel, or women that fly here from Israel bench gomel? You don't see that.
No, I'm talking
Why
about-
is it? There's an Indian of kol kvud masmelach. There is an Indian in so everything is relative to time and place.
Can you say Gomel not in front of a Saftar?
Sure. The Alter Rebbe says in Birchas Hanenin that if you're supposed to try to do it within 3 days. So the Alter Rebbe says, what happens if something happened Monday late morning? They already davened. They don't have minyanim at 11:30, quarter to 12. Daven min shachris mincha ma'ariv together. They're normal people that they daven shachris early, and then let's see, they daven shachris. There's a minyan at 8, and that's it. And then this happened at 10. So when's the next Torah reading? Thursday, which is more than 3 days away. Right? There's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So in Shulchan Aruch it says, even though nobody does this, but it says in Shulchan Aruch, the Alter Rebbe says, they should have a minyan, whenever it is. It could be Shachris, Mincha, Ma'ariv, whenever it is. And Bench Gomel, you don't need to say for Torah.
But it should be said in the presence of a minyan?
Yeah, Gomel has to be said in the presence of a minyan. You can't bench Gomel not in front of a minyan.
Is there a time limit set, Rabbi, on that?
So Lepoil, the minig is Lepoil, they wait till Thursday anyway. But in Shulchan Aruch, the Alter Rebbe says you should really bench
I'm
Gomel.
saying if a woman didn't do it, she says that she gave birth and she wants to...
Our minig is that they don't do it. They want to do it.
A woman that was choylev in Strapa, she doesn't bench gum?
That's the case of a woman that gives birth.
Right. So, no?
No, our minig is that women don't bench Gomel.
Listen, don't do it now for
Okay, next. Yeah.
Oh, so we don't go
I
by
just
out
thought
there?
it just...
Don't send your wife to say.
The Rebbe, we don't do a lot of things. The Alter Rebbe writes in Shulchan Aruch because the minig is Lepoil, not like that. Trust me, the Rebbe knows what it says in Shulchan. Somebody once asked the Rebbe a question. I heard it from the guy himself, or not from the guy's brother. He asked the Rebbe, "What do you do when Ziknei Rabbani Anash means the older, prominent Chabad rabbis paskin differently than the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch?
That's good.
What do you do? Do you listen to do you do what says in Shulchan Aruch, or do you do what the Rabbanim said?" So the Rebbe answered him, you definitely do what the Rabbanim tell you to do. Because the Rabbanim definitely know what the Alter Rebbe says in Shulchan Aruch, obviously. And yet they're telling you different. So obviously there's a source for that. Whatever the reason is. There's Kabbalah, there's a lot of things that, whatever. Okay, next. Okay, this we learned already that even though it's important, the Kaddish and all that, but it's more important to behave like a proper Jew. Okay, next dinim over here go into learning Torah every day. Hilchos Talmud Torah.
Except yesterday night.
What?
Except last night.
Meaning here you always, if there's nobody to say Kaddish, you say Kaddish the one before Hoydut.
Do we a lot of times? It depends what the murim in. For murim, do it. Don't do it.
Depends on the minute of the shul.
The Chazan could do it. In America, they don't do it. It's interesting. The Bachrim in Eretz Yisrael and the yeshivas, the Bachrim that are not just Bachrim, they're all the parents. In Eretz Yisrael, the Bachrim say Al Yisrael. And they do.
Yeah,
In America, the minig was not to do it. They didn't do it. But they're allowed to. But I'm saying the minig just taught the Bachrim in the yeshivas. When they would daven for the Yomid in the yeshiva Shimon, they wouldn't say Kaddish. The Rabbanim. Halacha, you're allowed to. It says in Shulchan Aruch you could say Kaddish Rabbanim.
Is it better to say it before Hoydut?
If the custom is to do it, you do it. The custom not to do it, you do it. There's certain things that really don't matter that much.
In Yeshiva, we did it. In
Where?
Pakistan, we did it.
The guy said, okay,
Bacher was Bacher davening from the Alma.
and he has parents.
His parents.
Okay.
Levinsky said you say it. So we said
Because halacha says you say it, but I'm saying in New York they didn't do it. We're in yeshiva, they didn't do it.
Kaddish Yasim also, Rabbi, they would say. Kaddish Rabban and Kaddish Yasim.
Only if somebody.
No, not Kaddish Yosef. If you have parents, you can't say Kaddish
Oh,
Yosef.
so just, but I'm saying if you're davening for
If you're davening with a Bachrim's minion, they all have parents, thank God. So then Al Yisrael they could say. But some places do, some places don't. In our yeshiva, when we grew up, nobody said Kaddish Rabban.
When you send that letter, the Rebbe says it's preferable.
Not Kaddish Rabbanim. So to say the Kadeshim that the minion is supposed to be, if you're able, to Kaddish Yosim.
But that's only if you don't have parents.
Right.